and a scorpion bites Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu's finger. Now he would scream, anyone would scream, but he's holding his tongue. He doesn't want to because the Prophet ﷺ is sleeping on his lap. And as he's holding his pain, tears are rolling down his eyes. And the tear falls on the Prophet ﷺ, and he wakes up. He said, Abu Bakr, why are you crying for? He said that I got bitten. And so the Prophet ﷺ read the Quran and put his spit saliva on it, and it was healed. What am I trying to say here? Our religion has been made to seem today that these were foreign, unique incidents that occurred for unique people that you and I are not worthy of. We're not worthy of these things. You and I are not worthy for the Quran to help us, to touch us, for us to feel it, and for us to gain something from it. That mentality has to go. And if I cannot connect with my Allah, the same Allah that in India, when they were, the Babri Masjid was torn down, right? Now, after so many other masjids were attacked, ask some of the Hindus who say that when we came to attack that mosque, there were humongous giants standing outside the mosque, and we ran. What giants? What security do we have? It's not your security. Allah put his angels out there. They saw them. There is an unseen world that we don't want to talk about. While the people have done filthy things to gain jinnat on their hands, so that they can use the jinns to deceive people's eyes. We are not the people of jinns, we are the people of angels. Allah's army is an army of angels. They're infinite in numbers. There's not even a single spot where you're sitting right now, your physical body is taking the place of maybe 50 jinns, 50 angels right now, because angels are everywhere. So now imagine, maybe there's like 20 billion jinns in this universe, and there is innumerable angels. What force do you want on your side? I want the angels. Now, when I connect with Allah through the Quran, Allah has deployed every single angel around you. No one can touch you. Let them try. No one can touch you. I'm not saying walk like this and say, okay, someone shoot me, my angel's gonna cover me. No, we do our due diligence, but as we are worried, we all are. People have lost sleep, people are very depressed right now. And again, and I have to be frank, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. This is going to continue. It's not gonna stop. We will be fooling ourselves if we think, oh, this was one crazy guy. No, there's a million crazy people right now. 100, 200, 300,000 of them are talking really garbage. 10 of them are actually going out and doing that garbage. Okay? But that 10 is doing a lot of destruction. Look at the opposite side. There's billions of us who believe in understanding and tolerance and love and compassion, but we're not talking about it. That's why we're not doing it. And that's why our force is not overtaking the forces of evil that are dominating in our world. So as we do good for ourselves to protect our masjid, to protect our family, to protect our home, and we do good to make sure our communities are united so that these things don't happen anymore, we need to connect with Allah. Our salvation is with Allah. I promise you, we have all the military forces in the world. We have more money as an ummah today than any other time. We have more Muslims today than any other time. We have more artillery and everything than any other time. But we don't have Allah. We have lost Allah more than any other time. We have. And that's what I'm scared about. That's really what I'm scared about. So yes, if you can and you have the motivation to do it, go do it 110%. I don't want to touch a gun. Because as I told you all before, my first janazah I ever washed was a guy who shot his brains out. I've seen too many people who've used guns and it hurt them, and I just can't. And I'm not saying that that's the right thing. For me, it's the wrong thing too.
I wonder if we should learn how to do like a slingshot or something. You know, I just feel like
We did that when we were kids, and
I
then we
just-
got in trouble.
I just feel like
Or at least like masjid drills, so we know how to do
We
that.
should know
Yeah.
for kids. They did a fire drill for the masjid. There was we also had a police officer come in and train them. There's a lot of things that we are doing, and inshallah we'll do more.
even bulletproof glass inside a classroom that can be locked and you know.
And
be
that's
safe.
that's again the scary world we're coming to, right? That you go into a cinema, or you go into the airport, you go into a hospital. If there's going to be machines everywhere, and it's just you know how traumatizing it is for our kids to go to school where they have all these things where they feel that you know they may die while they're learning math. I think it's too early to measure the trauma and effect of it. But yes, we do have to secure ourselves. Alhamdulillah, on Thursday we are invited in Frisco. There's that Interfaith Alliance that's semi-formed, is still being formed. But the Frisco Police Department 2 months ago had made this appointment for us to come there, and they're going to tell us active shooter training. And it's interesting. This was like 2 months ago, and it's happening this I think this Thursday morning. So, Alhamdulillah, we'll continue to bring whatever knowledge we can to our community. Our priority is to keep our community safe. There's no doubt about that. The police patrolled this area until 2 o'clock in the morning for 3 nights, and we could tell them to continue. They are observant. There is no imminent threat right now. There's a lot of, they pick up on a lot of conversations and stuff, so they would let us know. I was invited to be part of a national crisis call out of Washington, D.C., 7 o'clock in the morning of Friday. It lasted almost for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And so we're understanding what's going on. There is things, there are, whatever would happen, we will take the measures. So I've told the security guards here that everyone will be entering, exiting from these doors. And we had till yesterday locked the back door because we wanted to know who's coming in and out from this one angle. We don't need that door open. And so every evening, I think they implement that again and do that. Inshallah, one step at a time. But remember, tie your camel and rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not then. So, okay.
How do we know if we have a healthy level of fear versus like we're lacking it, don't need because our fear has become obsessive?
It's a striking of a balance. It's such a balance that if so long it's not either or, you can't you can't really articulate the volume with a precise number that I'm like a 60-40 today, or I'm a 70-30. But you have to understand that there are real fears, and then there is the fear. There's a fear what Allah would have decided in my favor in regards to this fear, but at the same time there is a protection from Allah that I cannot negate, and there's a protection from humanity which I cannot negate also. That there may be one crazy person in a crowd of 1,000,000, and yes, that's something to be careful of, but then there's also 999,909 good people who maybe put themselves in front of you to make sure that you don't go down. The only way, and I'm going to go off topic for a bit, the only way that we can gain solace in such a time, truly, is to say this was Allah's plan in the best way that He could do for them, and open up doors and opportunity for us to do better. Their death, they were there at the same time. They were there at the same time, same place. Every one of their death was written at the same time. Allah said, you know what? Why not bring them to my house? Why not make it on this blessed Friday in my house during Jummah? It's like that, again, that doesn't solve the answer of the shooter. I'm not answering the shooter's issue. I'm answering the part of them being there. That's what it is. Umar radiallahu anhu, he's a Khalifa, right? He was the person that the Prophet ﷺ said, if there is a prophet to come after me, if there were to be a prophet after me, it would be Umar. That's how much nobility and how much honor he had. How did he die? He was walking up for Fajr prayer. He wasn't walking in the street. He was in the masjid walking up the Saf. And what was his name? Abu Firoz Lu'lu'i. Abu Firoz Lu'lu, he took a knife, a dagger, and he stabbed Umar radiallahu anhu in the stomach. In the masjid, in the third Saf or second Saf, he's in the masjid and he was stabbed in the stomach. And he bled out through his wounds by that evening or the next day. So Allah, for him, decided that in the blessed morning hours, this would be the means of your end. The Prophet ﷺ, it was something that transpired maybe 2 years ago, which was the poisoning of the goat, the lamb, that led to a heightened state of heat in his body, which he would do more cupping on his head to try to take that heat out. And he would have a fever, and he would say, Inni uka, I'm having a fever. He would tell Aisha radiallahu anh, and I have a fever like 10 of you guys. So if my fever is 102, 103, what is the Prophet ﷺ's fever? 10 of you guys. And he remembered the poisoning that occurred because it gradually ate away on him. But you know what? That's fine. I'm going to live my life and do what I need to do. See, the problem that I'm having with our Muslims today is that we have the worst leadership, and I'm sorry to say that. We have the worst people leading us when it comes to giving us pointers of what to do. Yes, an imam may not be well versed in society. They may not be from this country. They may not know the ins and outs of society and politics because maybe they're not inclined towards it, or because they're so locked up in the masjid that they don't have time to go out and learn about it. But that doesn't give anyone authority to become a speaking voice for Islam in America, as some of the Muslim leaders are doing. After the Orlando shooting, where I was for 9 days, I did not see one from the LGBTQ community say, we're going to go pick up our guns and patrol our places. I did not see one Jew after the Pittsburgh shooting say, we're going to pick up our guns, we're going to go patrol our synagogues. I did not see one of the teachers from any of these schools say, after Sandy Hook or even Parkland, we're all going to bring AK-47s to school now. The schools didn't do it, the gays didn't do it, the Jews didn't do it, the Sikhs didn't do it. Why is it that all of a sudden the Muslims want to pick up guns? When you have the true Allah, what has happened to us? They accept their faith. In their funerals, they say, Jesus wanted this, God wanted this, this was destined. And here we're saying, let's all pick up our guns. And I'm not pointing your point is valid, but to incite in what I call this fear-mongering. This is exactly fear-mongering, and that's what our ummah is known for. The past religions, this is how they thrived. And I won't say their names. They would say, God's going to send you to hell. Come to the holy house. Pray, worship, put money in the basket, take the bread, give your confection, and pay more, and pay more. And now you pay 15%, 10% for your paycheck, and pay more. But I thought someone died for your sins, so why am I a sinner? Right? Fear. Because you know what? Fear is a bestseller. If I make you scared enough in Ramadan, I could milk you guys. You know, there's people doing that in the name of Allah. There are people using religion today to do this. I just spoke to the Prophet ﷺ. Oh, you did? AT&T or T-Mobile. What did you talk to him with? Weird things. Oh, he's saying do this, do that. Inciting fear is the messing up of our religion. Now, when there is fear, what did the Prophet ﷺ do? Give hope. When he sent the Sahabas to the world, what did he say? Give hope. He said, make it easy, don't make it difficult. Positive reinforcement, not negative reinforcement. Yassiru wa la tu'assiru, bashiru wa la tunafiru. And what are we doing? Oh, when there is already fear in our society, we're banking off that fear so that we can milk you more. This has to stop. I said, no one and nothing will come to my protection except for Allah. Doesn't mean I put aside all my worldly means and say namaz and say, oh Allah, you help me. No. You come here, you gain Allah's help, you take it with you to the world, you drive in your car with your seatbelt on. If you are in a bad place and you have a gun license, you hold your gun with you in your pocket and you do what you have to do. But you shouldn't live in the realm of fear. The fear of the world is real. You have kids, you have family, it's real. That fear should be a balance of your fear with Allah. That I fear that my Allah may be upset with me, angry with me, so I need to please Him also. It's a balance. I need to protect myself, I need to please my Lord. I love my society, they're gonna be there for me. I love my Allah, He's put everything at His disposal, everything that is in His control at my disposal for me. That's the balance. And if it's gonna happen, nothing can stop it. I was talking about it, Utayba, right? Abu Lahab's son. The Prophet ﷺ cursed him. He was a nuisance. The Prophet ﷺ cursed him. I talked about it last night in my khatara. So what happened was he knew the curse was going to hit him. So he traveled with an army of people. And they would sleep around him and he would sleep in the middle. That if anyone tried to infiltrate, they would get up and defend him. That night, when the Prophet ﷺ had already cursed him, he said, well, Allah, release on him one of your dogs. A dog from your dogs, meaning a beast from your beast. One of your creation, tell him to take care of him. That lion came at night and walked over every person. Allah kept them asleep because that's what Allah does. He can do what He wants. And this thing came and devoured him. So when Allah wants to harm us, nothing can help us. And when Allah wants to help us, nothing could harm us. And if Allah wants to help us, and this is how He helps us, and this is how we die, and this is how we see our end, just wait till tomorrow you understand what the honor was. We can't understand in this world. There's no justice on this earth. There will never be justice on this earth. We have to do our best to uphold the closest to justice because it's something, it's gravity, right? So justice wants to fall because the pressure of the world wants to bring it down. We have to defy the forces of gravity and keep the justice up. So we're literally like a LeBron James constantly pushing the ball up. We can't keep on touching the floor. We're going to keep on doing it, inshallah. It's not going to be 100%. That's what Allah kept the akhirah. In the akhirah, every question will be answered. Every issue that we had, every grievances that we harbored, every doubt that we had, every question on why Allah allowed something to happen, it'll be answered tomorrow. And not only will it be answered, Allah will do justice. As Allah says, mata'un qalil. It's a short world. We should be blessed. Initially when we were kids, we read Sirah books that, Adam alayhi salam was this many years, Nuh alayhi salam 1,000 years. I'm like, well, what did we do wrong? Why do we got 50 years? That's so crazy. But when you think about it, yeah, we got 50. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, A'maru ummati bayna sittina wa sab'een. My ummah's age is 60 to 70. Fine. But you know what? 60, 70 is a lot of stuff to handle. There's a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, a lot of personal issues, a lot of community issues. Now, just say, for example, a person, la samhallah, gets cancer at the age of 12. And they're going to live for 700 years. Right? That's misery for 688 years. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Mata'un qaleel. It's only a few days. We're going to pass. And when we see tomorrow, this would mean nothing. You came from your mother's womb. You were so insecure when you left your mother's womb. You said, I have nothing. You couldn't talk. You couldn't walk. Allah fed you. Allah clothed you. Allah made sure everything was taken care of. That was called Allah giving you trust and hope. That when you felt that you couldn't do it, your cry woke your mother up. Your mothers, most of you, mashallah, your baby cries 3 o'clock in the morning, you woke up without, sometimes we don't even wake up with the alarm clock, but that one cry woke us up. Or before the cry came. Why? Because that's Allah's infrared technology, right? Allah has the hearts connected. You are so small, you can't talk or walk. I will take care of you to show you that I took care of you in your mother's womb. I'm taking care of you in this infancy. Now you grow up, remember how I took care of you. I'm still taking care of you. If you want me to take care of you. If you don't want me to take care of you, I'll step back, Allah. I'll step back. You could take care of yourself. That's good for you. But وَمَن نُعَمِّرْهُ نُنَكِّسُ فِي الْخَلْقِ. There's a cycle of life. We kind of become that independent, to only go back and become dependent again. So balance is, the best way to put it, sister? Balance between your mind and your soul. Because it's the mind that's fierce and it's the soul that connects. So, try to put as much of your soul into it as much as your mind. And the stories that are coming out they just put salt to the wounds when you hear the stories of each of those people, and you hear the stories. People are saying you need to read the whole 74-page manifesto that he wrote. No, we don't. Don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. We don't need to get involved with that. We don't need to watch the video. This is the world we're living in, and I only say one thing: this is the failure of this ummah, because the Prophet ﷺ didn't send the Sahabas to the world to spread Islam. He sent them to spread peace. One day we were sitting in a dinner in Florida, lunch, and I was talking about how all these incidents are actually rising: wars, killings, murders, genocides. And the doctor, Umar, said to me, no, it's not rising. It's just being covered now. It's being documented because everyone has a phone, a camera, news crews. It's just being documented now. It's been happening forever. It just wasn't documented. Now you can see it. You can see a police officer beating up someone. You could see some kid bullying a kid in school, because people now record it and share it. If it wasn't for those recordings, you would say it's a myth, it's a story, it's just a fable. No, it's recorded, right? So what's happening is all that this world has been seeing for the longest time has been fitna and fasad. Islam was sent to bring some stability on this earth. So we gathered on Saturday to tell our community, in the presence of our extended community, that until we don't work together, there's no peace. Doesn't matter how strong we build this masjid community and our children and our women and our men, it's of no use until or unless those bonds are created, that there is mutual respect despite our differences. We don't need to talk about, did Jesus die on the cross or not, or is your Bible right or wrong, or has it been changed? It's none of our business. Let everyone do what they want to do. If you feel your religion is better and right, prove it through your actions. Don't need to sit down and have debates. We don't. We need to prove it. And the stronger we build the bonds in our community, the better the chances are our children will grow up in a better world. But see what Shaitan has done to us? He's broken us down systematically. He broke our ummah into countries, into fractions. In those countries, into tribes and different people. In those tribes and people, different sects and classes. In those sects and classes, different homes. In those homes, different divisions also. Every person in a home is divided today. Shaitan could go on a 3-year vacation and cruise. He could take the 3-year cruise on the biggest cruise ship and drink pina coladas all day. He'll come back after 3 years and we would have done more work than he's done, than he could have done in those 3 years. Because the whole source of Shaitan's work is, as I say, divide and conquer. That's what the British did. That's exactly what Shaitan does. We divide people, we cause rift and division, and everything, you will do his work. So a person asked the other day, he said that, why isn't the ummah coming together despite tragedies? We're not coming together because we've been divided so long, so hard, those lines are so deep. Everyone fears jumping from their territory to the next. It's like All of us are standing, like you're all sitting in a chair. You're literally sitting with these big gashes in the earth, like these big pitfalls that if you were to fall in it, you'll just fall into abyss. How do we bridge that? That's what this Ramadan is for. I really want us this Ramadan to take it seriously. There has to be something. We have to reconnect with Allah. And hopefully Allah will then reunite us. If there's 15 of us here, all of us reconnect with Allah, then Allah will make us that one ummah. If our families connect, Allah will make that one ummah. If the whole Muslim ummah connects, Allah will make our world that one ummah. We just have to start now. Because no one will listen to anyone. Every second person's got a whole different idea of how to do something. And all of us are doing what we want to do, even though we may know something else to be better. So what did Allah say in the Quran? فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ. If you dispute on anything, take it back to Allah and His Rasul. But He said that with a clause, إِن كُنتُمْ تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. If you believe in Allah on the Day of Judgment, you'll go back to Allah. But if you don't, then you'll keep on fighting amongst yourselves. And that's exactly what we're doing. That's exactly what we're doing. We fight over the moon. We fight over Taraweeh. We fight over how much Quran has to be read. We fight over if there's iftar or not. We fight over is this hot or cold enough. We fight over is there parking enough. We start Ramadan with a fight. We end Ramadan with a fight. The month that's supposed to be mercy starts with fist flying. The month that ends with fist flying. The month when we start feeling it, so nowadays, like you're in the 23rd night and you start feeling, hey, this is Ramadan. You were supposed to feel that 3 days before Ramadan started. Now you're in the 23rd night. Okay, fine, you start picking up, and then there's already dispute upon dispute. And the Prophet ﷺ warned us of that. The Sahabas were there. The Prophet ﷺ got revelation. He walks out, Laylatul Qadr, I just got in. They're fighting. And they're fighting. Like, stop them. By the time you stop them, Allah took it. I was informed of the night of Laylatul Qadr, but because of the two disputing and fighting, Allah took it away. Now go look for it yourself. The Ummah lost the biggest night of our life. See, if I'm 40 years old, 50 years old, if I had 30 years of Ramadan, or 35 years of Ramadan, how many Laylatul Qadrs did I get? If I knew Laylatul Qadr was the 25th night, I could have got all 35, right? But I don't know now. I might have got maybe 2 if I'm lucky. Why did I lose such a big opportunity of khayru min alfi shahr? Because the Sahabas used to tell the Prophet ﷺ, our ummah is such a small age. Those before us had such a large life. They did so much more than we did. They're going to stand on the Day of Judgment with mountains of deeds because they lived for 1,000 years. And we're going to be like 50 years. Like this is like, it's like a bad cricket score. Like 500 to 10. Like what is this? This is wrong. So the Prophet ﷺ prayed to Allah for this. And we got Laylatul Qadr, 1,000 months, 83 years and 2 months, or 82 years and 4 months, something like that. So if you add those 80 years in 10 years, that's 800 years, right? But why do we lose it? Because fight. Where isn't the Ummah fighting? Where isn't the Ummah fighting? As I said, this Ramadan, inshallah, we have enough that we've learned to seer. And I hope we don't learn anything else till Ramadan or after Ramadan. But this, no doubt, New Zealand has stabbed all of us and very deep. And the wounds are raw. The trauma is real. And it's going to hurt. And I want you all to know it's okay. The best thing I think you should do is, number one, talk with your families. None of us have answers. No one has answers. The only answer Islam gives us is believe that Allah has a better plan. This man set out with a plan. Allah has a better plan. So sit with our families and talk about it. Express our grievances and frustration. If we feel that this is still bothering us, we have professionals here that we can sit with and just talk. We have our psychiatrists and mashallah, our mental health experts here. Just sit down and talk. We really just need to talk because it doesn't mean we're going to walk away better, but at least we'll take off of our chest the the pain that we have right now. And you need to have that pain. You're still human to have that pain. It's not like you've lost your faith because you have that pain. It doesn't mean that you doubt Allah's decree and destiny because of that pain. It's fine. We need to have it. And inshallah, it's going to be a better day, inshallah. It's going to be a better day. Allah, anything else, sisters, inshallah? I'm sorry. I think we need to talk about this. This is really what I wanted to talk about today. Anything else, inshallah? No, yes.
How do you talk to the teenagers if, like, when my daughter goes out with hijab and I say, okay, don't be too late because nowadays you don't know what is going to happen.
Mhm.
And sometimes they understand, sometimes they don't understand.
Mhm.
So how do we, teach them the reality and
So,
these things?
so basically, self-responsibility, what the sister was alluding towards, like defense. We have to be aware of our time, our surroundings, the people, and the circumstances that are covering us right now. Um, that type of that type of education needs to be given. We can do it on a masjid level. If Brother Mahbub is supposed to do a mental health thing next Friday, but and it's supposed to not a mental health thing, so it's going to be called communications. We want to do communications, like how do we talk to each other and how do we create conversations with each other. I hope he's still up for it because I heard his health is not doing good right now. So we're going to figure out what could be done. If not, I'll try to bring someone else next Friday, inshallah. But we should talk about that so our teenagers know that you can't just walk around with your guard down. I said they both go hand in hand. You can't say, oh, I believe in Allah, nothing will happen, type of thing. No, that's not the way. Or I just believe in Allah. Yes, we all believe in Allah. You're not the only one. We all believe in Allah. But there's a balance between making sure the means are in the right place. You don't stay out too late. You're not one of the last people out of the library or wherever else. Be with people, go with people, and come back with people. So it's something that needs to be spoken about, and just laying those rules as parents, doesn't matter if they're teenagers. It's our duty to make sure that we lay those rules and we keep those rules. And I'll tell you why. Because even when they leave our house, they have to abide by rules. It's going to be in their dorm. It's going to be whatever they rent has rules. The university has rules. The society has rules. The workplace has rules. There's not a single aspect of our society that does not have rules. You go on a plane, it has rules. You go to cinema, it has rules. You go into a public bathroom, it has rules. So if they don't understand the importance of those rules, then if they fall short in one, they're gonna continue falling short in others. So just be there to continue to reiterate it. That's your responsibility, and to have those dinner time talks. I think it's important. We just really need to have dinner time talks. And if our Desi dinners can be earlier, I think it'd be great. Have them like 6 o'clock. I think ideal time is 5, 6. People may call me old, but I think this is the way to do it because that's how Florida is. 4 o'clock you go to the restaurant, it's full. Everyone's there. By 6 o'clock it's empty. 6, 7 o'clock. It's most of the old people, right? Yeah, they eat early, they go to sleep, but they wake up in the morning. But now the demographics in Florida is changing because, mashallah, a lot of younger folk there too. But again, it's just good for your health too. But yeah, we need to have these conversations. A lot of our children may not be talking right now, but I promise you, every one of them are frustrated. They are confused. They're scared. They don't know how to process. We just don't know how to process. None of us do right now. None of us. Someone was criticizing that our MC on Saturday was laughing and joking, and I said that we did not know how to process. Some people process by laughing and joking, and it's okay, it's okay. They're telling themselves it's okay, but they know it's not. Everyone is processing in a different way, and no one processes it the same way. But truth be told, none of us are undermining what has happened. This was a tragedy of epic proportions, And I came in right before Isha. I told Brother Nafis this has happened. 3 minutes before Isha prayer, I got the alert and someone tagged me at 9:01, and I checked it, I shared it, and then I came for Isha prayer, And after each had meetings, after I then looked back at the news and it was getting worse. All we heard that the Bangladeshi cricket team was there, they got out, and some just gunman walked in, there's been shooting, there's some blood. But then we started learning the severity, the people are dead by the next morning, it was 40, then 49, now 51. So, yeah, it's gonna be tough, but please talk. If they don't wanna talk, you talk, and then you allow them room that they know you're willing to listen. Just listen.
That is another problem, right?
Yeah, I know.
For us as parents, when we want to talk, they don't wanna talk. They want some space. So, most of the time.
So the thing is, sometimes we talk because we really care so much that we talk,
Yeah.
and they're like, okay, done. So you have to do is that the balance is that knowing that they're teenagers now, the best thing that we can do is hear from them, then tell them. So our talk would be maybe 2-3 minutes, and hopefully give them 7 minutes to think, listen, or say something. So we need to give bulk of the time now to them, because if we've been bringing them up with these constant lessons and values and stuff, now we're on the phase of transition to see how much of that are they taking, how much of it are they leaving, and how can we help them in non-conversational methods to inshallah apply to their lives. Um, we're parents for life. It's gonna keep on continuing. Teenagers a phase, and it's young adults, and then it's mashallah parents, and then it's inshallah grandparents. They're gonna keep on going through phases. Inshallah, we'll be there with them and for them throughout the process, inshallah. So, alhamdulillah. Anyone else, sisters, inshallah?
I
Yes.
just have a comment.
Sure.
This time on age, we have been like, usually I have been doing the morning and evening azkar. Sometimes it was like just a ritual,
Mhm.
but now I learned how important it is. Prophet Sallallahu has given the, there are ayat from the Quran, like Bismillah, those things, like we take it so for granted. Okay, in the morning rush, we are just going, should we do it or not do it? Let's keep it. But after what happened, like I have been doing it so consciously, like I know there is Allah's protection, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given a means, No doubt you are so busy and you have so much going on, it hardly takes 10 minutes to be honest, Just make sure you do it, like then put trust in Allah. Like personally, I didn't watch anything to be honest. No videos, no news, nothing. Because it affects me a lot. So I was like, I'm not gonna do it. I know it happened, it was the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That kind of saved me, and that I wanted to share with you all. We do the Quran and everything, but make sure you do the du'as of protection in the morning and evening. No matter what, teach your kids, teach your teenagers, so that Allah is with us. And I just had a question, like, I was reading, like, Prophet Sallallahu had done all the prophecies. So is there anything, like a text or something, where we can read it? Or I have, like, there are a lot of things on the internet, where it goes like some right knowledge, some wrong knowledge, like, because there are some prophecies in the Bible as well, what they shared. But there was like the end of times, there will be signs, this will be happening, that will be happening. I don't know if it's recorded, we can look it up, because we have to arm ourselves, like know what Prophet Sallallahu has told, this will happen during the end of the times. The only thing I know, like masajids will be there, no one will be praying, like, but there's a lot going on. So I was like, I don't know, we should learn about it. I don't know if there's any resource you know.
We could do a course on the signs of the Day of Judgment, so we could do that. But remember one thing, the signs that he prophesied, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there's a lot of authentic books on it. Alamat as-Sa'a, there's so many books, authentic books on this. The thing is that one thing that we're not understanding, and you touched on it, is that these things are going to occur, and they're going to occur when we are so disconnected from Allah that they will start coming as, like cut the necklace, and the pearls will just be falling out one after the other. The only way to postpone, delay, push away the signs of the Day of Judgment is the stronger our connection is with Allah, the weaker evil is in its effectiveness on us. And the less we are in our connection with Allah, the more powerful. So Allah has given like 100 units of energy in this. If this much is spirituality, this is how much evil has. But if this is how much spirituality has, this is how much power evil has. And that's exactly what's happening now. So you're talking about du'as. How important du'as are. In our homes, we should do like a whiteboard, a contest, or on the fridge. That Ramadan's coming up, 30 days, 30 du'as. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيئا في الأرض ولا في السماء والسميع العليم اللهم إنا نجعلك في نحورهم ونعوذ بك الله من شرورهم. These are for protection, yes, and Ayatul Kursi, but then also du'as of safety. Allahumma anta rabbi la ilaha illa ant. There's so many du'as. Let's put together, and that should be number 8 for Ramadan. If you're doing your Ramadan chart, number 8 is memorization of du'as. 30 du'as in 30 days. We need our homes to be, the weapon of a believer is dua. When a believer puts their hand up, remember, dua changes destiny. Destiny is rewritten by dua. So one is that dua, but then is the duas that you do for food and everything else. The more duas I have in my heart and mind, and the more duas I practice, everything is protection. Everything is protection. Dua for food is protecting yourself from the harms. Look how cancer is now becoming a big problem, right? Now, I'm not saying people are not reading their duas, astaghfirullah. But these duas are there that even if the food is bad, you don't know if the food is bad, right? Someone could take like a very rotten fish, for example, and bleach it or something and make it look nice, and right? Because if you look at fish, it's not white. There's a process they do when you eat a fish burger. Every fish burger is the same color. Like, think about it. Why? It's a process. Whatever they do, it makes it into that. Now, you don't know what was put into it, how it was touched, what harm there was. But when you read Bismillahi wa ala barakatillah, if you read لإلاف قريش إلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف. You read these and you just eat. Allah will allow when it goes in your stomach only the good to stay with you and the bad to leave you. The good that stays with you will become good for you. Dua. You go to the bathroom and you read dua. Allah protected you not just from the jinnat and the shayateen that are in the bathroom, but Allah also protected you from any ailments that could have caused problems in your health, from taking out the toxic from your body. You go to sleep, your body does not know what's happening. The other day, I know some of us might be scared of snakes, but there was a video of a lady, old-aged lady, that a snake came into her room and bit her while she was sleeping. There was a camera because they were, monitoring or helping, whatever, but it came into the room. When we're sleeping, what came on my body, what is moving around in my room, I don't know. Allahumma bismika amutu ahya. No, it's true, right? Like back home, there's bugs. We were in Jamaica and we went to sleep. We were at the masjid. So we went lie down to sleep. We said, oh, look at the beautiful colors on the roof. We turned the flashlight on. They were all lizards. It was lizards. The whole roof was full of lizards. I'm like, okay, that's not colors, that's lizards. Now, you're going to sleep. That's when you say, Allahumma bismika amutu ahya. لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم أسلمت نفسي إليك ووجهت وجهي إليك وفوضت أمري إليك والجأت ظهري إليك رغبة ورهبة إليك لا ملجأ ولا منجا منك إلا إليك آمنت بكتابك الذي أنزلت وبنبيك الذي أرسلت لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله باسمك ربي وضعت جنبي وبك أرفع إن أمسكت نفسي فاغفر لها وإن أرسلتها فاحفظها كما تحفظ به بعدك الصالحين. That's just 3 duas. And you read your Ayatul Kursi. Now you close your eyes. What has happened? Allah has His angels watching over you. Nothing will come close to you. Because you cannot see them, every creation can see them. In Jamaica, they said, when you hear the donkey braying in the evening, like the Jamaicans say this, if the donkey is braying in the evening, that means someone's going to die in the next 3 days. The donkey saw the angel of death or something. That means someone's going to die here in the next 3 days. This is what they say. They say that the animal instincts is saying something. Why does a rooster make the noise in tahajjud time? Why doesn't it make noise in the afternoon? Why is it in the tahajjud time, early morning time? It's its form of dhikr that he does. And that's to remind us to do the same. So when you have the angels on your side, tell me not even an ant can bite you. And if the ant bit you, it cannot harm you because Allah has you in His protection. So the goal is very simple, that du'as, learning them, memorizing them, using them will create such a force of goodness. Not only will we be strong, but all these evils of the signs of day of judgment we're pushing. Until now, from the time of the Prophet ﷺ, where he said, I and Qiyamah have been sent like this, it hasn't come in 1400 years because every generation was pushing it. Every generation was pushing it. The question is, we're not pushing it anymore. So now it's coming to us, right? It's coming to us. It's like kids on the beach, they're playing. They make, the sand castle and they bring the water, right? Or then so they push the sand out and the water comes. So this is exactly what's happening now. The Qiyamah alamas are coming faster because we're not doing what we're supposed to do. Now people say, oh, how much you're going to pray and how many khutbahs you listen to. Is this not essential? Is my soul not important? The body is never going to be satisfied. The body's never going to be happy. The body's never going to do all the good. It's the soul that will tell the body what to do. So I think my soul is important too. So the balance is what we need. So number 8 for our Ramadan, in addition to fasting once a week, number 2 was the entire Ramadan menu on the fridge to make sure there's no expectations this Ramadan. And I promise you, inshallah, if the simpler it is, the better it is. I love Moroccan harira at this time because the soup is it's amazing how they do iftar and stuff in Morocco. Harira soup, a little rice, and it's good, it's healthy. So keep it simple at home. The simplicity of it is what will get you by to focus on the soul. Remember, psychologically, you're telling your body now, this 30 days that are coming up, it's not about you. You tell yourself in the mirror, it's not about you. This is about what's inside of you. I've given you 330 days. Now you need to sit down. I'm giving my soul 30 days. It's not about you. Yeah, but that doesn't mean if you have a doctor appointment stuff, you have to go. I'm not saying don't do that. But this is not about me caring about my body, it's my soul. Number 3 is when you calculate the food expenses, spend the same amount that you would have if you did those lavish dinners or stuff or at home, and just feed your neighbors. I promise you at this time, if you could feed your street, if there's 30 days and there's 30 houses on the street, every night just give one food, that is dawah. That is extreme dawah. Especially at a time that we're living in right now, you will have won everyone's heart in that street. Not because alhamdulillah, our culture is food. Their culture is their standard of society, how they live. So unfortunately, the car is there, the houses are there, but food on the table is what they have to sacrifice. So we're going to give them some food for that evening. And as you feed them, see if you could also give sadaqah or help feed a fasting person because that's very rewarding also. But don't take the thing of feeding a fasting person as legitimacy to hold big dawats and say, I'm feeding fasting person. Yes, you are, but that wasn't the way the Prophet ﷺ wanted it to be. He had a different understanding of it for us. Number 4 was, of course, cutting down those invitations. Don't invite, don't take invitations. If we keep that culture, inshallah, and I will be talking about these in the khutbahs, one invitation a week is more than enough. Again, this is my rehab. I'm quarantined in the hospital. I need to make sure I do things right. Number 5, the journal. We talked about the journal. Write down a journal from now. What it is that I want to gain from Ramadan. What is the thing I want to lose in Ramadan? And what are the things I want to continue post-Ramadan? We talked about this extensively. If there's anything, I could talk about this in the next class, but we talked about this. I also showed you what the indicator of losing is, that when you start fasting, you will start feeling weak. That weaknesses implies there's something that you just committed a sin, and that sin made you lose all your physical energy, and that will deplete your spiritual energy. So write it down. I scoffed at someone, I mocked someone, I lied, I cursed, whatever it was, write it down. I need to lose these things. Number 6 was tahajjud. What was the tahajjud regimen, sisters? half an hour earlier, right? And in the half an hour, of course, your suhoor and everything else, just throw in 2 rakats, right? And go slowly, slowly and build it up. Sometimes we have this like no tahajjud the whole year, Ramadan, like 8, 10 rakat, and after Eid, back down again. Now let's build something. I don't care if it's such a small incline. I'd rather see after 1 year this much higher than to be there. Yeah, it's maybe like 2, 3 inches, but guess what? It's better than nothing. And if I work it, inshallah, in 10 years I might be 30 inches. The thing is that I'm getting closer to Allah, right? If Allah takes my life after 10 years, I can say, Allah, I made 30 inches of progress in my relationship to you and growth. It's better that than having nothing. Yes.
What will be better if I pray like 2 rakat and make lots of dua, or pray 4 rakat, 8 rakat and little dua during the tahajjud time?
So dua is what's being answered. Pray 2 rakats, most do 4, and then spend some time making dua, inshallah. And I would say stick to 4 personally. If a person's not praying tahajjud, stick 2, and by end of Ramadan they hit on 4, and then stick with 4 or 2 after Ramadan, and then hopefully see that gradually build to 6, 8, 10. 2 is the minimum. It will go to 4. After Eid, it might go down to 2 again, or 0, and then back to 2, maybe 4. But then ultimately, you'll start seeing it take off, inshallah. When we talked about the 1-minute increments of du'as, right? Asking Allah, making dua, this dua is. So 1 minute of dua every day, and by the end of Ramadan, it's going to be 30 minutes of dua, right? And get something from Allah. Allah's treasures are so big. It's about time I receive an Amazon from Allah, right? Something should come from Allah. I need to get something. If Allah is giving, I'm not getting, there's a problem. And the last thing that we talked about for today is memorization of du'as. We need to put together, sister, you had the dua of protection stuff. Let's put together a list. Some basics. Eating, sleeping, entering the house, like eating both, sleeping both, entering house, exiting, car, and restroom, right? These are things, masjid, restroom, and add also protection, add also, let's put a list together. We should do it next week, inshallah.
That will be good, like if we have a place and we can connect with our website, like there is some duas that's already in the Cadence app, but this will be easier for the kids also, they can.
To memorize.
Yeah.
So let's all put together 1 or 2 du'as that we think are great, and we'll compile the list, and inshallah we'll type it up, and we'll put out for the community, the 30 du'as in 30 days to memorize. Inshallah, that's good. So all of us could contribute towards that, inshallah. That'd be great. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, that's beautiful, inshallah. I apologize for the delay too, inshallah, and I think that's where we'll stop. You know, we were talking about these beautiful sahabiyat radiallahu anhunna, who truly exemplified, the greatness of Islam, and their stories were also talked about in the khutbah 2 weeks ago. Alhamdulillah, it's a reminder of how Islam was a force of success, because every single human being that was a Muslim at that time was invested in the cause of Islam. Ammara, Aisha, Fatima, Nasiba bint Ka'ab, Sulaim, radiallahu anhunna, all of them, just their stories are just amazing. Sulaim, being in the latter stages of pregnancy, she insisted to Abu Talha that he go seeks permission from the Prophet ﷺ, that she wanted to go out for Uhud. And he gave her permission. And she went and she witnessed the conquest of Makkah also on the great day when the hills of Makkah echoed with the cries of the believers and the Muhajirin. There's no God but Allah alone. He has kept his promise, granted victory to his servant, and alone has he defeated the Confederates. There is nothing before him or after him. There is no God but Allah, and we worship him alone, adhering faithfully to his religion, although the disbelievers may hate this. This was a day when the bastions of idolatry and shirk in the Arabian Peninsula was forever destroyed, and idols were thrown down by the Prophet ﷺ, as he declared, "Truth has now arrived, falsehood perished, for falsehood is by its nature bound to perish." The point here is The falsehood is bound to perish. The question is, who's going to bring the good to allow it to perish? If the Muslims today are not bringing that good, if we have good and we're not bringing that good to the world, what do we expect? If we know sanctity of life, but we're not bringing the sanctity of life in our own communities, in our own countries, as we say, what do we bring to the world? If we say rights and we are denying those rights and we are abusing those rights, what are we bringing to the world? We have haqq. The absence of haqq is batil. Haqq can take over batil. But if we're not bringing the batil or doing the, if we're not bringing the haqq or doing the haqq, how will batil go? So I want to leave you all with that thought. Human beings haven't been created evil. Allah created every human being perfect. Allah created every human being on His settings. It is the absence of good that made them evil. And it's only the presence of good that will make them better. So we need to be good forces of good, inshallah. And those forces of goodness will, inshallah, fulfill this promise of Allah in the Holy Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst those good people, inshallah. Ameen. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give stability to our homes and our families at this time of uncertainty. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring love and unity in our community. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive those who have passed on. May Allah honor them and receive them well. May Allah give patience to their families and into the community and to the entire ummah that's suffering from such a loss. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to take something from this lesson that will help us in ensuring that such things never happen again to anyone, inshallah. Ameen. Jazakumullah khair to all you sisters, inshallah. And inshallah, we'll continue next week, inshallah. So 12 o'clock is what we're sticking to, right? 12 to 1:30, inshallah. That's good for everyone? Jazakumullah khair. Thank you so much.